Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about how judging someone else can affect our health. Hi, my name is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman. I'm an intuitive psychic medium here in the Sugar Land area. That's just outside of Houston. I work with my angels and guides to assist my clients in many areas of their lives, to bring them special messages from loved ones who have passed, to dialogue with their angels for guidance into their own situation, or to assist them with their own psychic abilities. If you like my content, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I know that sounds really strange. When I was first reading this article, I really was like, how can that really, saying, if I'm judging someone else, how can that really affect me? And I was like, okay, I'm interested enough to read the article, but I came away with such an amazing understanding that I couldn't wait to get this video done for you guys. So the question is kind of like, how do you know that judging others, how do you figure out judging someone else can be harmful to me or to your health? I will say maybe, it's kind of like, I heard for many, many years, it's kind of like walk a mile in someone else's shoes. You don't know what they're really going through. And it really does turn out kind of something like that. It's like, yeah, sometimes we can be judging someone else harshly, but we don't realize that we really are. And what can happen for us is when because we're social creatures and because we have this natural instinct to kind of judge someone else. And when we judge someone else, we may kind of think oh, we're doing it for safety, kind of like we're kind of scanning them, kind of like, do they feel like they're a threat to me? Do they feel like they would be a friend to me? Do they feel like they might hurt me, or that sort of thing? So we're kind of doing the initial part of it, and that's not necessarily a judgment call. It's kind of like, let me feel what your energy is, kind of where is your energy at this point. So do I need to be concerned about this, or do I not need to be concerned about this? But I will tell you, it doesn't stop there, and it really should, but it doesn't. So what really happens is when we're around other people, we start judging them for a lot of different things. And usually what we don't like in them is what we don't like in us. So a lot of times, if you're critiquing someone else's driving skills, you may feel like, wow, I'm a much better driver than they are. And a lot of times, on and on and on and on. And kind of the harsh part of that is usually what we don't like in others, we don't like in ourselves. So you may be thinking wow, I'm not really judging them for this, but you really are. And kind of the harsh part of that is you are usually kind of maybe judging yourself at the same time. Sometimes we judge people on their clothing, kind of what clothing are they wearing? Do they look put together, or do they not look put together? Maybe it could be their jewelry that they're wearing. Maybe it's something else, or maybe kind of maybe they have scars, or kind of like a physical issue or something like that. And so we start judging them based on the things that we're seeing about them, but actually beyond checking into their energy of are they safe to be around? Are they secure to be around? That sort of thing. We should let all the other judgment fall by the wayside, because usually what we're ending up doing is kind of what we judge other people harshly on, it's really what we see in ourselves. We see that, like I said, maybe someone else doesn't have great driving skills, but maybe we feel like that at the time. We're kind of oh, I know, I'm sitting next to you in the passenger seat and I'm a great driver and all that kind of stuff, until you get into the driver's seat, and then it's oh, maybe I shouldn't judge someone else that way. But a lot of times we kind of cover that up, and we don't want those things to kind of come out. But a lot of times it's still flourishing. It's kind of oh, wow, I'm judging them for this. But a lot of times we don't really think of it as now I should stop this and change my thinking or change the way I'm doing things. We kind of just keep those harsh comments going. When we are constantly seeing the bad in other people, we are actually training ourselves inside to always be looking for the bad in others. And this comes down for generations as well. If you were judged harshly by your parents, then you're going to feel like you need to judge your kids harshly, or it could skip that generation. Because I felt harshly judged by my parents, I'm not going to judge my kids. Therefore, they're going to feel a lack of that, and then they're going to harshly judge their kids. So sometimes it misses a generation. It doesn't always, but sometimes it does. And this can lead to us kind of like increased stress. And stress can really weaken our body, our immune system, bring up higher blood pressure, fatigue, depression, anxiety, and all kinds of crazy things. And we're like, no, wait, what is this? Did you know that more than 43% of all American adults suffer from adverse effects of stress? I know, I was like, oh my gosh, that is almost half the people in the United States are feeling the stress. And usually that comes in from judgment. I know, it's like, wow, that is amazing. It's easy to see the faults in other people, but when we're looking for those faults, we also find them in ourselves, and then we kind of beat ourselves up, or we kind of try to make ourselves perfect. Like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to learn how to do this better. I'm going to do this better. And a lot of times we're like literally competing against something that's completely out of realm. It's one of those, like, we want to be the best. We say, oh, I want to be the best me I can be, but a lot of times if we're not, we're beating ourselves up over it, and that adds stress to us. Therefore, then we're more likely to judge others, so we kind of pull them back down to our level. That's not the way this should go at all. This is not it at all. One of the things is when we learn how to accept the faults in others and faults in ourselves, we actually learn to love ourselves. That is a great takeaway from this, is when we really learn how to accept the faults. Everybody else's issues or problems, when we start looking at those kind of differently and with a loving eye, it literally changes the way we can look at ourselves as well. And so therefore we kind of learn how to love ourselves by loving other people. Literally, it makes people shy away from us. If you're around someone who is, you're always feeling judged by, a lot of times you're like, I don't want to be near that person. I've heard this so many times, especially just kind of going through the holiday season. So many people are like, I feel judged by my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. I feel judged by my cousin, my niece, my nephew, or whatever it is, my brother, my sister, all of that kind of stuff. And literally what you're doing is kind of pushing that person away, and therefore that person doesn't want to hang around you anymore. It's like no one wants to feel judged. If you want to have relationships that aren't superficial, you really require kind of bringing in that love for other people, that kind of that beneficial type of love, and kind of accepting them for who they are, so you can accept yourself for who you are. A lot of times, yes, I'm older, but I will tell you, a lot of times, like, everybody wanted to be in the in crowd, and a lot of times they will do anything they could to be in that in crowd, until they realize, like, that in crowd does a lot of judgment. They do a lot of judgment. Like, I have to do that because all of my friends did this. I need to do this because all my friends did this. And it's like, no, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any of the sort. You can be your own person and kind of decide for yourself what you want to do, because what you're doing is literally pushing the real people away from you faster and faster. A lot of times people will distance themselves from people that they feel judged by. And I will tell you, kind of social isolation can kind of increase people kind of feeling lonely, feeling depressed, feeling a lot of different things that aren't necessarily supposed to be there, even into like small things of like inflammation of your joints and that sort of thing. And a lot of times, like, energetically, that shows up in our body. So when we kind of release that and kind of let that judgment go, it really does bring everything back into balance the way it should be. I will tell you that literally when you are judging someone else, it really does stunt your own personal growth, which is kind of what we're supposed to be moving into in 2023, is this personal growth of this kind of like, yes, I'm ready for this changes to come in. I'm ready to make some updates and change me and not all that kind of stuff. But when you're judging other people, you're literally not allowing yourself to do that, because you're keeping up those walls of judgment, like, oh, they're not like me, or this person's not like me. And so instead of kind of opening up and kind of like, what is the energy in here, literally they're closing things off. Many people turn criticism of others instead of kind of focusing on themselves. So they kind of like, let me cut you down so I feel better about myself. But a lot of times what they're cutting that person down for, they feel it on the inside. So it's kind of like, really you're telling all of those things. They're telling themselves all of that stuff. So not only do you have like the guilt of what you said, because you already feel like, hey, this is not right, or what I'm saying to them is something that I think I should be telling myself. Then you have the energy of what you've just said, and that energy comes back to us, and kind of like that karmic kick of it, like, oh my gosh, being able to kind of feel that we are not worthy enough and that sort of thing. So we literally kind of take on both energies, the energy of what was said and the energy that it was told to. So that's kind of like, whoa, that can really come in. It's much easier to blame other people for being like sensitive or that sort of thing, but a lot of times it's your energy that's affecting them that way. Like, I don't want to be around this person, and sometimes people can't even really put it into words. Like, I don't know why I don't like them, I just don't like them. And that can be like, yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, I never realized that this is why they didn't want to be around me or anything else. So it's kind of like thinking about that for yourself. If you can't, one of the things is kind of seeing that need for improvement for ourselves. Like, if you're used to judging other people, know that there's a lot of things for yourself that you need to open up into and heal or fix with you. I think sometimes like people kind of push other people away, and it's because being around positive people can just like uplift your energy. And so if you're that positive person in the room, other people are going to be drawn to you. I thought this was so funny. I was at a party not too long ago, and I thought it was really interesting. There was someone sitting there, and they were being really positive, and we were kind of chatting with each other, that sort of thing. And it was interesting like how many people kind of kept joining our group, and it was like, wow, this is really interesting. And the kind of we changed the subject a couple of times, and other people added in. But the one thing that I thought was really interesting is there was another group where you could see several people kind of like putting that judgment, oh my gosh, I can't believe she wore that, or I can't believe she wore whatever it is. And it was like that group kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And a group of positivity and just like changing your thinking and let upgrade this and do this and that sort of thing, like literally was like growing, just like more and more people. Literally when we started talking, there was just 3 of us, and by the time we kind of stopped and kind of changed subjects, it was one of those, we had like 20 something people in our group. And so by then like everybody kind of formed off into other smaller groups, but it was still very positive talk, which was like, wow. People love to be around people that are talking friendly, talking about lifting other people up, or kind of going on. And I think it's kind of like the positivity of it. When we send out that positivity, like people are drawn to that energy even more so. And I think it's really interesting. People love to kind of hear the positivity, but no one likes to hear the the banter of like complaints or problems or whatever else. And I think that's kind of just the interesting part. As we move more and more into 2023 and kind of do a lot of self-work on ourselves, it's something really important to kind of bring up that positivity. So let's do some angel cards and get us a little bit deeper insight into all things. Why judging others is harmful for ourselves. Support. Our angels and guides never, ever criticize us. Did you know that? They never judge us either. And I think that's one of those like simple but amazing energies of, they're not judging us. We judge each other. We judge each other really harshly, but our angels and guides never do. Our guardian angels, they never judge us. No matter what's going on, our angels and guides are always kind of around us, even if we're kind of like, not so great. They're the ones that are kind of encouraging us to fix things, change things, and upgrade ourselves. Archangel Michael. A lot of times people call in Archangel Michael when they feel like they're being judged or they're being criticized. So that's a great one. If you feel like you're being judged by other people, bring in Archangel Michael to kind of cut that out, and also help you kind of find the right group to be with so that you can feel uplifted and powerful and positive. Intention. When your intentions are to completely upgrade your energy and bring in positivity no matter where you're at or what's going on, that intention is going to be amazing. Setting that intention right off the bat can be just a game changer, and it can also help you kind of like go back to that. What is my intention of why am I coming to this event or this party or this whatever it is? I want this, and that's what you're going to get out of it. Answered prayers come in so many different ways. I know there are so many people that, like I said, they feel judged by other people, and answered prayers are like, I don't want to be judged for something that's me or my quirkiness. And I think this happens for a lot of people because being psychic, a lot of times we don't have the normal regular job. A lot of times being psychic, we feel like we're not always like accepted in all groups, but I guarantee you answered prayers are all around us, because when we open up to the positivity of ourselves and open up to the positivity of what our creator energy wants for us, that's everything. It is amazing. And our answered prayers are coming through, because so many times, like you just watching this video of me being a psychic, everybody wants to be accepted for who they are, not judged. They want to be accepted. Ideas and inspiration. When you celebrate your ideas and inspiration, not only with you, but your friends and your family and your ideas, that comes through in so many different ways. And letting other people know that that's what's coming through your energy can really amp you up, because ideas and inspiration and finding people that have like-mindedness, other people that have that positive energy that you're searching for, can be amazing. And I think that's kind of one of those interesting ones, is that when you're looking for those like-minded great ideas and inspiration and moving forward, you're going to find it. It's always there. I thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.